There's something extraordinary about the world right after Fajr, when the air feels softer, the sky still carries the echo of your prayer, and the heart is awake before the noise of the day begins. In that quiet, Allah writes barakah into the lives of those who choose remembrance over rest. Those moments aren't ordinary, they're divine invitations. When you stay awake after Fajr, you're not just avoiding sleep, you're stepping into a sacred time where guidance flows, clarity unfolds, and unseen blessings begin to shape your day. It's the hour where your soul learns to rise long before the sun does. There is a sacred calm that fills the world after Fajr, a silence that feels almost alive. It's in those quiet breaths of dawn that the heart begins to feel the presence of something greater, something divine. While most of the world still sleeps, the few who stay awake are witnessed by the angels, their prayers written in light. It's a time when the distance between heaven and earth feels smaller, when every whispered dua is carried higher. In those early hours, your soul begins to remember its origin. You were never meant for the noise, the rush, the constant weight of worldly demands. You were meant for peace. And peace comes when you rise before the world, not for productivity, but for presence. When you sit with your Creator in stillness, the noise within you begins to fade. There's a secret softness in the morning air after Fajr. The world has not yet begun to demand, to distract, or to pull you in 100 directions. It's as if Allah gifted this moment for the ones who seek a time to refill the heart before the day empties it again. When you choose to stay awake, you choose to meet your day with a full soul. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, spoke about the barakah in early hours, blessings that multiply unseen. That barakah is not just in your work or time, it's in your state of being. It's clarity in confusion, calm in chaos, light in darkness. It's the feeling that no matter what the day brings, your heart has already been fed. When the world sleeps, heaven listens to those who call upon their Lord. Every word you speak in that hour carries a weight it doesn't carry at any other time. It's the hour when sincerity shines brightest because there is no audience, no validation, only you and Allah. And in that honesty, your prayers find wings. The quiet after Fajr is not empty, it's filled with presence. The angels surround. The sky glows faintly with promise, and the heart becomes a vessel for divine peace. If you listen closely, you'll feel it, that subtle assurance that you are seen, heard, and cared for. Many chase miracles in grand gestures, but the greatest miracles happen in small moments of faith. Waking up early, sitting with your thoughts, reciting dhikr softly while the world sleeps. This is where transformation begins. You don't have to move mountains, you just have to wake your soul. When you begin your morning with Allah, the day unfolds differently. The same challenges appear, but they no longer shake you as they once did. The same worries come, but they feel lighter. That's the unseen strength given to those who meet the dawn with remembrance. If you've ever watched the sunrise after Fajr, you know the kind of peace that can't be described, the way the light slowly breaks through the horizon. Quiet yet powerful. It's a reflection of what happens inside you when faith begins to rise. Light doesn't rush in, it grows, just like trust. There is something sacred about being awake when others aren't. It's not superiority, it's intimacy. Allah draws you closer, giving you the chance to speak before distractions flood your heart. It's a reminder that your most honest moments with Him often happen in silence, not noise. When you stay awake after Fajr, you are training your soul to prioritize what matters. The world tells you to chase success, but faith tells you to chase barakah. Success fades, barakah sustains. You'll find that your hours stretch, your energy grows, and your day feels guided in ways you can't explain. Some mornings, your body will resist. The bed will feel too warm, the eyelids too heavy. But remember, not every ease is a blessing, and not every struggle is a burden. Rising after Fajr might be hard, but it's a small sacrifice that brings eternal reward. Discipline and faith becomes serenity in the soul. When the world is still asleep, there's a unique sweetness in dhikr. Each repetition of Subhanallah feels deeper, each Alhamdulillah more real. The stillness amplifies remembrance, and the heart begins to glow with a peace the world can't provide. That glow becomes your armor for the day ahead. Every sunrise is a message, a reminder that light always returns. You may be going through darkness now, but the Fajr hour teaches you that dawn always breaks, even after the longest night. Staying awake is your act of faith that the sun will rise again, both outside and within. The morning is when angels record the prayers of those awake, and those prayers are never wasted. Even if you see no change, trust that heaven has already moved something for you. Sometimes the blessing is not in what changes, but in the strength you gain while waiting. When you begin your day remembering Allah, you carry His remembrance through everything that follows. That remembrance shapes your reactions, your words, your patience. It becomes a quiet anchor that keeps your soul steady even when life shakes around you. There's beauty in the unseen, in the moments that no one claps for. Staying awake after Fajr might not look impressive to anyone, but in the unseen world it's known. The angels witness, the heavens open, and your heart quietly grows stronger. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, would often use the early morning for reflection, connection, and purpose. That wasn't just habit, it was spiritual wisdom. The earlier you center your heart on Allah, the more your entire day follows that rhythm. If your mornings feel rushed, heavy, or meaningless, try slowing down after Fajr. Sit in silence, reflect, read something that nourishes your soul. You'll find that the barakah of those moments echoes throughout your day in your conversations, your decisions, and your mood. When the world sleeps, Allah is near. That thought alone should awaken something inside you, a realization that you are never alone in your early striving. Each time you wake and choose remembrance over rest, you're saying to your Lord, I'm here even when the world forgets. It's in those unseen moments that real change happens. Not in public displays of worship, but in quiet sacrifices only Allah knows. When you stay awake after Fajr, you're building a relationship with your Creator that's private, deep, and unshakable. Barakah isn't just about time, it's about meaning. The same hour can feel empty or full depending on how you spend it. When spent in remembrance, even minutes feel stretched, as though Allah Himself breathes life into your schedule. That's the unseen blessing of early mornings. Every dawn you rise, you are being written among those who choose light. And Allah never overlooks those who choose Him over comfort. You might not see immediate rewards, but one day you'll look back and realize those mornings built the peace you now live in. When the world sleeps and you whisper your hopes into the early light, know that nothing is lost. Every word, every sigh, every moment of remembrance, it all ascends. Heaven listens when the earth is quiet, and the heart that speaks then is heard the loudest. So, the next time you feel the urge to return to sleep after Fajr, pause. Step outside, breathe the morning air, and feel how alive it is. That stillness is a sign, a call, a reminder that even when the world rests, Allah is awake, waiting for you to whisper your heart to Him. There's a special kind of light that doesn't come from the sun. It doesn't blind the eyes or fade at sunset. It settles in the heart. That is the light that awaits after Fajr. It's not the brightness of the sky that transforms you. It's the awakening of your soul. When you rise before the world and your forehead touches the ground in remembrance, you invite a light that the world cannot dim. The moment after Fajr carries a calm that feels otherworldly. The sky turns from deep blue to gold, and something within you begins to shift too. It's as if Allah paints both the horizon and your heart at the same time. Each color of dawn becomes a reminder. Asterisk, you were never forgotten. Asterisk, light is coming, and it begins here, in this sacred silence. When you stay awake after Fajr, you're not just keeping your eyes open, you're keeping your heart awake. The world may chase success in the noise of the day, but the believer finds it in the stillness of morning. That stillness becomes a mirror for your faith, clear, undisturbed, and full of reflection. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, spoke of the blessings in the morning hours, Barakah, that fills your life when your first thought is remembrance. This light of Barakah doesn't just shine in your day, it spills into your character. You begin to respond with patience, act with purpose, and live with softness even when the world feels hard. After Fajr, the earth feels newly created, untouched, waiting for intention. You can feel it in the air, a freshness, a divine quiet. That's the moment when the heart feels safest to dream, to plan, to begin again. And when you start your day in that presence, even your smallest actions become forms of worship. Light after Fajr is not just physical, it's spiritual. It reaches places in your heart that darkness once claimed. It teaches you that renewal is always possible, that no night is too long, and no mistake too heavy. Every sunrise becomes a whisper from Allah. Asterisk, begin again, I have not left you. When you wake before the world, you walk ahead of it. You begin your day guided, not distracted. That early connection becomes your compass. It's not about being productive, it's about being aligned. You don't rush into the day. You enter it with awareness, carrying light that softens every challenge ahead. This light teaches you to see differently. You no longer view life through fear or comparison. You start seeing through faith. Where others see obstacles, you see opportunities for growth. Where others see loss, you see divine wisdom. That's the gift of a heart illuminated after Fajr. You may not always feel the glow, but it's there, subtle, steady, like warmth on a cold morning. Sometimes light doesn't announce itself, it simply works in silence. Allah's light enters your life the same way, quietly, yet powerful enough to change everything. When you begin your morning remembering Allah, you're inviting peace into your soul before the day can disturb it. You're choosing clarity before confusion, calm before chaos. That single decision to rise, to pray, to stay, becomes the doorway through which light enters every corner of your life. The sky before sunrise is a reflection of life itself. Darkness slowly giving way to light. You stand at that threshold each morning, witnessing a truth Allah repeats daily. No darkness lasts forever. Every dawn is a mercy, and those who greet it with remembrance are the first to receive its peace. The light that awaits you after Fajr isn't only about illumination, it's about transformation. It softens your heart in ways that words can't explain. It turns tired souls into strong believers. You begin to notice that peace isn't found in quiet places, but in hearts that remember Allah no matter where they are. The believer who stays awake after Fajr walks differently. Their steps carry purpose. Their words carry gentleness. Their eyes notice beauty where others see nothing. That's what light does. It changes how you see, not just what you see. The early morning is like an open door. Allah leaves it unlocked, waiting for those who truly seek Him. and those who walk through it find more than time, they find perspective. The same problems still exist, but they no longer feel heavy. That's what happens when the light touches your burdens. If you've ever watched the sun rise after prayer, you'll understand why hearts that rise early shine all day. The world feels alive again, and so do you. That first light reminds you that every beginning is proof of Allah's mercy, a new page, a new chance, a new peace. The Fajr hour is not just a moment, it's a message. It's Allah telling your heart that it's never too late to return. When you meet the morning with remembrance, you're declaring that no matter what yesterday held, today begins with hope. And that hope itself becomes light. Sometimes you'll wake up heavy, tired, distracted, unsure. But when you turn your face toward prayer and whisper His name, you'll feel the heaviness lift, even slightly. That small shift is not insignificant. It's the beginning of light entering the places that felt dark for too long. This light can't be found in the world's noise. It's not in screens, nor schedules, nor success. It's found in the stillness between prayers. In the moment you close your eyes and say, asterisk, Ya Allah, guide me. Asterisk, the more you call Him in that hour, the more the light expands inside you. A single morning spent in remembrance can repair what months of distraction broke. That's the hidden mercy of Fajr. It renews what life has worn down. Your energy, your patience, your perspective, they all find balance again in that sacred calm. When you carry the light of Fajr into your day, it shows in your presence. People feel calmer around you. Your words soothe rather than sting. Your eyes reflect assurance instead of worry. That's how Allah spreads His light through hearts that begin their day with Him. There's a reason the angels record the morning prayers so distinctly. The world is still, your heart is sincere, and your intentions are pure. The prayers made in that hour echo differently, not louder but deeper. They're written in a register of sincerity that never fades. Even if the world feels heavy, the morning after Fajr teaches you resilience. It's the reminder that every new dawn is proof that Allah still believes in your story. You're not defined by your yesterday, you're renewed by your today. That's the light of faith, constant, forgiving, everlasting. The light that follows Fajr doesn't just brighten your path, it expands your heart. You begin to notice blessings where there were complaints, beauty where there was boredom, peace where there was pressure. Light doesn't change the world around you, it changes how your soul experiences it. If you've ever wondered how to start healing, start here. Wake up, pray, stay awake. Sit with your thoughts, listen to the quiet. That's where the heart learns to hear again. Because when you slow down enough to let Allah in, His light does the rest. And when that light fills your heart, you'll realize something profound. It was never about chasing brightness outside. The sunrise, the morning calm, the beauty of creation, all of it was simply a mirror of the light Allah placed within you all along. There is a kind of stillness after Fajr that feels like a secret between you and Allah, a pause in time where everything slows down, yet everything inside you begins to awaken. The world hasn't started rushing yet, and in that quiet, you begin to feel a blessing that words can't describe. That blessing is Barakah, unseen, gentle, and powerful beyond measure. It's not loud, it's subtle, like sunlight touching your heart before it reaches the earth. Barakah isn't just about having more, it's about feeling content with less. It's the unseen abundance that turns small efforts into great results. You may do less, but achieve more. You may have little, but feel full. That's what happens when Allah places His blessing in your time, your actions, and your heart. It's a secret only discovered by those who pause in early stillness. When you stay awake after Fajr, You step into the hours of barakah that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, spoke about, hours where even a simple act becomes multiplied in reward. The early morning isn't just a part of the day, it's a gift. Those who recognize it don't just live longer in time, they live deeper in purpose. Barakah transforms the ordinary into sacred. The same breakfast tastes better, the same task feels lighter, the same hour becomes richer. It's as though Allah stretches time for you, fills your moments with ease, and guides your steps with quiet wisdom. It's the blessing that reminds you everything is enough when it's blessed. The stillness of morning isn't just a silence of the world. It's a silence that allows the soul to hear. When everything around you is still, you start to sense how near Allah truly is. Barakah lives in that awareness, in the recognition that even in small, still moments, He is present, watching, giving, sustaining. When you wake after Fajr and resist the urge to return to sleep, something shifts inside you. Your body might feel tired, but your soul begins to bloom. Barakah doesn't just fill your schedule, it fills your spirit. It's not about productivity, it's about peace. That's the difference between a busy morning and a blessed one. Allah places barakah where hearts are sincere. It doesn't depend on status, wealth, or knowledge, it depends on intention. A single minute of remembrance in early stillness can carry more weight than hours of distracted living. When you give Allah the beginning of your day, He blesses the rest of it. Barakah is the invisible thread that ties your efforts to success. You might not see it, but you feel it. In the ease that follows difficulty, in the calm that replaces worry, in the way your day flows even when plans change. That's not luck, that's divine precision. Stillness after Fajr teaches you that barakah begins with gratitude. When you pause to thank Allah for another dawn, another breath, another chance, you invite blessings into everything that follows. Gratitude opens the heart, barakah fills it. Together, they create peace that no circumstance can steal. Barakah is like light. It doesn't make noise, but it changes everything it touches. You won't always notice it in the moment, but later, when you look back, you'll see how your smallest acts grew roots and bore fruit. That's the unseen work of Allah's blessing. The early stillness carries a kind of clarity that the rest of the day can't offer. It's as if Allah opens a door to reflection that later hours keep closed. You begin to understand things you couldn't before, not because the world changed, but because your heart became quiet enough to listen. In a world obsessed with speed, barakah reminds you that stillness is not wasted time, it's sacred time. The one who learns to pause gains more than the one who rushes. The believer who starts their day in remembrance may do less in quantity but achieves far more in meaning. Barakah makes life feel spacious. Even with responsibilities, challenges, and deadlines, you find yourself breathing easier. That's because Allah blesses not just your time, but your energy, your patience, and your clarity. You move through the day with a kind of ease that feels like guidance itself. The stillness after Fajr is not just peaceful, it's purposeful. It's a time when the soul realigns with its Creator. It's a daily reset that brings you back to what truly matters. Barakah flows naturally when your heart starts the day remembering who holds it. Barakah is the quiet miracle that turns the ordinary into extraordinary. It's the reason a small act of kindness softens a heart. A brief dua changes a life. A few minutes of reflection bring a lifetime of clarity. It's Allah's way of saying, what you give for me, I will multiply beyond what you can imagine. When you walk through your day with barakah, you stop chasing outcomes. You start focusing on effort, knowing that the result lies with Allah. That mindset brings peace, because you no longer measure success by how much you achieve, but by how sincerely you strive. Barakah in time feels like the world slows down just for you. You finish tasks faster, conversations flow smoother, and your mind feels lighter. It's not coincidence, it's divine balance. Allah gives you the ability to do more with less because you started your day with Him. The stillness after Fajr is a time when the heart is closest to truth. Distractions haven't yet entered, and your soul feels raw, open, and sincere. When you fill that space with remembrance, Allah fills your life with ease. That's the hidden equation of barakah. Silence plus sincerity equals abundance. Barakah is also protection. It shields you from burnout, from hopelessness, from emptiness. You might still face challenges, but you'll notice how your heart stays soft, how you recover quicker, how your perspective remains gentle. That's what blessed time does. It strengthens you without hardening you. Every morning that you wake in remembrance, angels record your name among those who chose light over comfort. That list unseen by the world is honored in heaven. Barakah lives in that unseen recognition, in being remembered by Allah because you remembered Him first. The one who lives with barakah walks through life with quiet confidence, not arrogance but assurance. Assurance that Allah's timing is perfect, His wisdom is flawless, and His plans are already in motion. That kind of certainty cannot be faked. It can only be earned through stillness and trust. Sometimes barakah comes in the form of removal. Allah takes something from your path, not to punish you, but to make space for better. The believer who understands this doesn't panic. They pause. They know that hidden in that emptiness is a blessing yet to be seen. When you taste barakah, you stop craving what others have. You realize that your provision is tailor-made, your timeline is precise, and your blessings are enough. That realization alone brings a peace that feels like a prayer answered. Barakah in early stillness is not about doing more, but about being more aware, more grateful, more connected. The one who begins their day in remembrance carries that presence like light in their eyes. It's visible even when unspoken. And as the sun rises, spreading its warmth across the horizon, you begin to see what barakah truly means. It's Allah's way of multiplying peace, stretching time, and filling hearts. The stillness of morning becomes a reminder that real abundance is not found in the world's rush, but in the quiet moments where you remember who gives it all. Before the sun rises, before the world begins to stir, there's a quiet invitation waiting for the believer. It's not loud or urgent, it's gentle, like a whisper from heaven calling you to rise. The world is still asleep, but your soul is being asked to awaken. This moment, just before the light breaks, holds a kind of peace that the rest of the day cannot offer. It's where the soul learns to breathe again, away from the noise, anchored only in remembrance. When you rise before the sun, you're doing more than waking your body, you're reviving your spirit. The stillness around you becomes a mirror, reflecting your innermost thoughts. It's in that silence that you begin to feel how close Allah truly is. No distractions, no expectations, only a heart speaking directly to the one who shaped it. This is not just a time of prayer. It's a time of becoming. The world values early risers for success, but faith values them for connection. You're not chasing productivity, you're chasing peace. In that pre-dawn stillness, every breath feels sacred. Every whisper of Ya Allah echoes farther, carried by angels who roam the earth, seeking hearts awake in remembrance. The unseen world is alive in those moments when the rest of the world sleeps. Awakening before the sun means giving your soul a head start. Before worries begin to weigh you down, before distractions pull at your attention, you anchor your heart in something eternal. You remind yourself that your worth isn't defined by your plans, but by your purpose, and your purpose begins with Him. When you rise in those quiet hours, you're responding to a divine invitation. Allah doesn't need your wakefulness, but your soul does. It needs the silence, the surrender, the softness that only exists in those moments. That is where the soul finds strength, not in noise or movement, but in surrendering completely. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, cherished the pre-dawn hours, not for their silence alone, but for their intimacy. In that time, he would speak to Allah in whispers, seeking forgiveness, mercy, and guidance. The one who follows that example learns that the strongest connection is born not in comfort, but in consistency, waking up when it's hardest, simply to say, "Here I am, my Lord." Before the sun rises, the heart sees differently. The darkness doesn't feel frightening. It feels full of possibility. It's the time when the believer's tears fall softly, not out of sadness, but out of longing. The heart feels lighter, the mind clearer. This is where burdens are released and trust begins to grow roots. Awakening your soul before the sun is like opening a window before the light enters. You don't wait for the world to guide you, you prepare yourself to guide it. You cleanse your thoughts, align your intentions, and remind your heart of its origin. In that stillness, you begin to feel who you truly are beneath all the noise, a servant, loved and seen. When you rise for Fajr, you rise against the pull of comfort. Every time you choose remembrance over rest, you train your heart to obey before it understands. That discipline is what awakens the soul, the act of choosing Allah over ease, purpose over pleasure, eternity over moments. The stillness before the sun is not empty, it's full of presence. The angels descend, the world softens, and your heart becomes tender. You're not alone. In that hour, every believer awake at that time is connected by the same light, the same remembrance, the same quiet yearning for Allah's closeness. Those who wake before the sun often feel things others miss. They see how the first light slowly unfolds over the earth, how it doesn't rush, but rises with purpose. That's how faith grows too. It doesn't explode into your life. It dawns slowly, steadily, until everything around you glows. In that sacred time, you remember that success isn't measured by what you achieve, but by what you awaken inside yourself. The world will rush, demand, and distract you soon enough, but for now, it's just you and your Lord. Every word you speak in those moments plants a seed of barakah for the rest of your day. Before the sun, you find yourself stripped of pretenses. You can't hide behind accomplishments, appearances, or words. It's raw, it's honest, it's where you finally meet yourself, and in meeting yourself, you meet Allah. You realize that the deepest parts of your soul only open in darkness lit by remembrance. This hour teaches patience. It teaches humility. It teaches that waiting for light, for clarity, for change is not a sign of delay, but of divine design. The soul that awakens before the sun learns that faith is not a rush to the finish. It's a walk through the stillness. The stillness before sunrise is sacred because it reflects the beginning of all things. It's a rebirth, a renewal. Just as light replaces darkness every morning, Allah replaces despair with hope in hearts that seek Him early. Each dawn is a promise. No matter how long the night, the sun will rise again. When you choose to wake before the sun, you're declaring something powerful, that you belong to Allah before you belong to the world. You start your day not as a seeker of success, but as a servant of peace. That awareness shapes your choices, your words, your perspective. It gives you direction when life feels uncertain. In those quiet moments, Allah teaches you balance. You learn when to speak and when to stay silent, when to strive and when to surrender. That clarity doesn't come from effort. It comes from being still long enough to hear what the soul already knows. Sometimes the greatest healing happens not in grand moments, but in small ones, like the hush before sunrise, when your heart finally says, asterisk, I trust you. Asterisk, that single surrender can change the course of your day, even your life. Because awakening the soul means learning to rest in Allah's will. When the first light breaks, it's not just the world that brightens, it's your heart. The same light that touches the horizon begins to touch your thoughts. You realize that every new day is a chance to begin again, that Allah's mercy renews itself with every dawn. The believer who wakes before the sun carries that light into the day. They walk with calmness, they speak with gentleness, they live with purpose. The world feels chaotic, but their heart stays anchored. That is the fruit of an awakened soul peace that doesn't depend on circumstances. Even on the days when your faith feels dim, waking before the sun rekindles it. The effort alone is seen by Allah. You don't need perfection, you just need presence. Each morning you rise becomes another page of sincerity written in the unseen. There's a beauty in the unseen rewards of early worship. The world won't notice the tears, the quiet whispers, or the long breaths taken between dhikr, but Allah does. And He promises that no moment spent in remembrance before dawn goes unrewarded. The world measures success in visible results. Faith measures it in invisible growth. Waking before the sun may not add to your resume, but it builds your soul. It makes you resilient in struggle, humble in ease, and grounded in gratitude. When you rise in darkness seeking light, Allah never leaves you in shadow. The same one who commands the sun to rise commands your heart to heal. Every dawn is a sign that He is still guiding, still forgiving, still near. And when the sun finally rises, spreading gold across the horizon, you'll realize the truth. The light outside was only a reflection of the light He had already placed inside you. To awaken before the sun is to remember that your soul was created to shine first. There is a sacred silence after Fajr where the air feels softer and the soul more alive. In that stillness, dua carries differently, lighter, freer, closer to heaven. It's as though the gates of mercy open wider in that hour, waiting for your words to enter. When the world is asleep, the heart finds its voice. And every whisper that escapes your lips is heard by the one who never sleeps. When you raise your hands in the early morning, you're doing more than asking, you're surrendering. You're admitting that no matter how much you plan, hope, or strive, you are still in need of Him. That vulnerability doesn't weaken you, it purifies you. Because when you stand before Allah with nothing to hide, you finally find everything you were looking for. In the early dawn, dua rises like light, subtle, quiet, but unstoppable. It travels through layers of stillness, unseen but deeply felt. Sometimes it's not even words. Sometimes it's tears that speak louder than any sentence ever could. Allah hears both the ones you say and the ones you're too tired to form. The beauty of dua is that it doesn't require perfection. You don't need eloquence, poetry, or strength, only sincerity. Even when your voice trembles or your faith feels fragile, Allah listens. He listens not to the weight of your words, but to the weight of your heart behind them. When you wake after Fajr and call upon Him, the world hasn't yet placed its weight upon you. You're lighter, softer, closer to clarity. That's why du'as made in those moments are powerful, because they come from a heart unburdened by distraction. They rise straight from sincerity to the heavens. Worries often feel heaviest when the world is loud. But when you turn to Allah in the quiet of dawn, something shifts. You realize that your problems may be large, but your Lord is greater. That realization doesn't erase the pain, but it gives it purpose. Your dua becomes the bridge between fear and faith. When you say, Ya Allah, help me, it's not a cry of despair, it's a declaration of trust. It's saying, I believe you can, even when I can't. That's what makes dua sacred. It transforms helplessness into hope, sorrow into strength. It's the art of letting go while holding on. The believer who cries before dawn understands something profound, that tears shed for Allah never fall in vain. Every drop that touches the earth is recorded, every sigh noted, every pain known. The world might never see your struggle, but the one who counts every heartbeat does. Dua is the language of the soul. It speaks even when the lips are silent. It's the quiet conversation between you and the one who already knows but still loves to hear you speak. It's not a transaction, it's connection. And in that connection, worries begin to melt. When you start your day with dua, you're not just asking for blessings, you're shaping your perspective. You're reminding your heart that no matter what the day brings, you are guided, seen, and loved. Even unanswered prayers become answers in disguise when you look through the lens of trust. Sometimes your dua won't bring immediate relief, but it will bring calm. Allah may not change your situation right away, but He changes you within it. That calm is also an answer, a quiet mercy that replaces panic with patience and restlessness with reassurance. When you make dua after Fajr, you're stepping into a moment where heaven listens more closely. The angels bear witness to your sincerity. They carry your prayers, your hopes, your fears, all the way to where only Allah's mercy resides. Nothing you say is too small for His attention, and nothing too great for His power. Your dua doesn't have an expiration date. Even when you forget what you asked for, Allah remembers. Sometimes He delays, not to deny, but to deepen your faith. The longer you wait, the stronger your trust grows. And that growth is often the real answer you were meant to receive. The stillness after Fajr is where your heart learns how to let go. You pour everything out, the pain, the confusion, the longing, and in return, Allah fills you with something better, peace. It's not always immediate, but it's certain. Peace always follows sincere surrender. When the believer whispers in the quiet of dawn, the heavens lean closer. The world below is unaware, but above, your dua lights the unseen like stars. That's the power of early supplication. It may feel small, but it shakes the unseen world with its sincerity. There are du'as that heal instantly, and there are du'as that heal slowly, like rain nourishing a seed buried deep in the soil. You don't see the growth right away, but something is happening beneath the surface. Trust that every Ameen plants something beautiful in your life, even if you can't see it yet. Sometimes you'll pray the same dua for days, months, even years. You'll wonder if it's being heard, but the truth is, every repetition polishes your heart, preparing it to receive. Maybe the delay isn't punishment, maybe it's perfection in the making. When you make dua, you're not reminding Allah of your need. You're reminding yourself of His power. You're not changing His plan. You're changing your posture from control to surrender. That shift is where the soul finally rests. The dawn carries a kind of mercy that can't be explained, only experienced. It's the hour when forgiveness feels closer, when hearts soften, and when hope begins to rise again. It's where du'as ascend and worries begin to lose their weight. Your dua might not always change what's around you, but it always changes what's within you. It teaches patience, faith, and perspective. It reminds you that while life can be uncertain, Allah never is. Every word you whisper becomes a thread tying your heart back to Him. In that early silence, your soul remembers who it belongs to. You realize that your heart wasn't made to carry everything alone. You were made to ask, to release, to trust. Dua is not weakness, it's the soul's greatest act of strength. There's a peace that comes after dua, a silence that feels sacred. You may still have the same problems, but they no longer consume you. That peace is the first sign of acceptance, not that Allah has granted what you asked, but that He has granted you ease while waiting. Every morning you raise your hands after Fajr, imagine your worries rising, with your prayers not disappearing, but being carried somewhere safe. Somewhere where Allah guards them, shapes them, and returns them to you in a form better than you could imagine. Dua is where transformation begins. It's where the soul remembers that the answer isn't always what you receive, but who you become while waiting. When you trust Allah with your pain, He turns it into purpose. When you trust Him with your fears, He turns them into faith. And when the light of dawn finally breaks, painting the sky in gold, you'll feel lighter not because the world changed, but because you did. Your worries didn't vanish, they simply found their place at the feet of the one who never forgets, where du'as rise and worries finally fall. When you begin your morning with Allah, you don't just step into the day, you walk into it with light. It's a light that doesn't come from the sun or the sky, but from within. It fills your heart before it reaches your path. You carry a calm that the world can't disturb, a strength that doesn't come from you, but from the one who guides every step you take. There's something sacred about walking into the day after remembrance. The air feels lighter, your thoughts quieter, your intentions clearer. You begin to notice how even the smallest things, the sound of birds, the warmth of sunlight, the kindness of a stranger, are reminders of Allah's mercy. The day no longer feels ordinary. It feels like a gift unfolding moment by moment. When Allah's light enters your heart, it changes how you see. The same world, the same challenges, the same people, yet everything looks softer. You stop seeing through fear and start seeing through faith. You realize that even what seems difficult is just another form of mercy wearing a disguise. To walk with Allah's light is to walk with balance. You no longer chase what's fleeting, and you no longer fear what's unknown. You learn that your worth is not in how the world sees you, but in how your Creator sees you. That awareness gives you dignity, peace, and quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't need to prove itself. The one who begins the day in remembrance walks differently. Their footsteps are gentler, their words kinder, their heart more present. This light doesn't make you perfect, it makes you aware. Aware of your intentions, your actions, your purpose. Every encounter becomes a chance to reflect that light, not just receive it. Walking into the day with Allah's light doesn't mean life becomes easy. It means you begin to see meaning even in what's hard. You still face trials, but they no longer define you. The same storm that once shook your heart now teaches you to rely on the one who commands the rain. This light becomes your compass when life feels uncertain. It guides you when emotions cloud your judgment. It whispers patience when anger rises, hope when despair creeps in. You begin to trust the quiet nudges of your soul, those subtle reminders that come when the heart stays connected to Allah. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught that the morning hours carry barakah, a divine blessing that multiplies everything it touches. When you carry that barakah into your day, it follows you like a fragrance. You find ease in your tasks, clarity in your choices, and beauty even in your struggles. To walk in Allah's light means to carry serenity even when surrounded by chaos. You might still be busy, still challenged, still tired, but your heart remains calm. Because deep down, You know who is in control. You know that everything written for you is already guided by mercy. The light of Allah doesn't erase your humanity, it elevates it. It allows you to be strong without being harsh, firm without being arrogant, humble without being weak. It's a light that teaches balance, how to walk on earth gently while keeping your gaze toward heaven. When you walk with this light, you begin to see people differently. You stop judging quickly, you listen more deeply. You see everyone as a soul on a journey, each carrying unseen battles. That awareness turns criticism into compassion and distance into prayer. This light also gives you resilience. Even when life pushes you down, you don't stay there long. You rise, not because you're unbreakable, but because you know who lifts you. That's the secret of divine light. It doesn't prevent the fall. It teaches you how to rise gracefully. Each morning spent with Allah leaves a trace on your soul. Over time, that light becomes part of your nature. It begins to show in your patience, in your gratitude, in your calmness under pressure. People may not know why they feel peace around you, but it's because you walk with what the world cannot give. Sometimes Allah's light comes through ease, and sometimes it comes through breaking. You may lose something only to realize it was blocking the sunlight meant for your heart. Every loss becomes a clearing. Every challenge a reminder that your true source of strength is never gone. Walking into the day with Allah's light means walking with purpose. You're no longer drifting, you're directed. You see every task, no matter how small, as an act of worship. Whether you're working, helping, or resting, you're aware of His presence. That awareness turns your entire life into prayer. This light doesn't just brighten your path, it shields you. It keeps you from choices that would harm your soul, from words that would wound another, from roads that lead away from peace. It's a protection that doesn't always feel like it. Sometimes it comes as delay, sometimes as redirection, but always as mercy. To walk in light is to walk with humility. You no longer need to be right in every argument or win every battle. You learn that true victory is in keeping your heart clean. The one who walks with Allah's light doesn't need to prove their worth, they simply reflect it. Even in moments of weakness, the light remains. You may stumble, but it doesn't fade. Because Allah's light isn't conditional, it's constant. It waits for you, calls you, welcomes you back every time you remember Him. The heart that turns back to Allah never returns empty. Every morning you begin in remembrance is a new chance to rewrite your story. Yesterday's mistakes lose their power. Today's dawn becomes your renewal. Allah's light doesn't ask for perfection, only sincerity. When you walk sincerely, He fills your steps with guidance. Sometimes you won't feel the light immediately. There will be days of heaviness, of confusion, of silence. But even then, it's there working quietly within you, mending, softening, guiding. Just as dawn doesn't rush, your healing unfolds at the same divine pace. The believer who walks with Allah's light carries it into every space they enter. Workplaces feel warmer, homes feel calmer, hearts around them feel safer. That's the ripple effect of faith. It spreads without words, simply through presence. When you walk with Allah's light, you stop fearing the unknown. You realize that nothing ahead can harm you if He is with you. That awareness frees you from anxiety, from overthinking, from the illusion of control. You start to walk lighter, not because life got easier, but because your heart learned to trust. Each day you carry this light. You are fulfilling your purpose to be a reflection of divine mercy in a world that forgets. You don't have to be extraordinary. You just have to be sincere. Even a smile becomes worship. Even silence becomes wisdom when it's guided by faith. And when the day ends and the sun sets once again, your light doesn't fade with it. It stays because it's not borrowed from the world. it's anchored in the eternal. You entered the day with Allah, and you leave it with Him, your heart glowing, your soul calm, your path illuminated by a light that no darkness can ever extinguish. As the day unfolds and the sun stretches across the sky, remember that the true sunrise was never outside, it was within you. Every morning that you rise for Fajr, you awaken a part of your soul that the world cannot touch. You walk through your hours lighter, calmer, and more grounded because you began them in His remembrance. That is the quiet miracle of faith, the ability to move through noise without losing your stillness. Each dawn is not just another beginning, it's a renewal of your covenant with Allah, a promise between the soul and its maker. When you wake before the world, when you choose light over comfort, you're telling your Lord, I want to begin my day with you. And that choice alone shifts everything. It turns ordinary mornings into sacred ones, and ordinary lives into ones filled with purpose. You were not created to move through this world aimlessly. You were created to walk through it, illuminated, guided by faith, fueled by remembrance, softened by gratitude. The light you carry after Fajr is not temporary, it's eternal. It's the reflection of your connection with the one who never leaves you in darkness. So as the world rushes, pause, breathe, remember who began your day and who will guide you through it. Let every sunrise remind you that Allah is still writing your story, not with haste, but with mercy. You don't have to see the whole path. You just need to trust the light that's already in your heart. And when tomorrow comes, rise again, not out of habit, but out of love. Because every dawn that finds you remembering Him is another chance to be remade, renewed, and refilled with peace. Walk into it slowly, gently, and with gratitude. For those who greet the morning with faith, don't just watch the light, they become it. As the day unfolds and the sun stretches across the sky, remember that the true sunrise was never outside, it was within you. Every morning that you rise for Fajr, you awaken a part of your soul that the world cannot touch. You walk through your hours lighter, calmer, and more grounded because you began them in His remembrance. That is the quiet miracle of faith, the ability to move through noise without losing your stillness. Each dawn is not just another beginning, it's a renewal of your covenant with Allah, a promise between the soul and its maker. When you wake before the world, when you choose light over comfort, you're telling your Lord, I want to begin my day with you, and that choice alone shifts everything. It turns ordinary mornings into sacred ones, and ordinary lives into ones filled with purpose. You were not created to move through this world aimlessly. You were created to walk through it, illuminated, guided by faith, fueled by remembrance, softened by gratitude. The light you carry after Fajr is not temporary, it's eternal. It's the reflection of your connection with the one who never leaves you in darkness. So as the world rushes, pause, breathe. Remember who began your day and who will guide you through it. Let every sunrise remind you that Allah is still writing your story, not with haste, but with mercy. You don't have to see the whole path. You just need to trust the light that's already in your heart. And when tomorrow comes, rise again, not out of habit, but out of love. Because every dawn that finds you remembering Him is another chance to be remade, renewed, and refilled with peace. Walk into it slowly, gently, and with gratitude. For those who greet the morning with faith, don't just watch the light, they become it.